just spoke highly of you.
He did.
Yeah,
Oh, that was nice. Tell him thank you.
will do.
So let me see. It is 9 o'clock. I totally like to respect everybody's time, and I'm sure they're going to join us as we move on. But I wanted to start with a little inspirational video. I love Ed Myatt. So I'm going to go really quick to his video. And I think
you do not hate, you will eventually tolerate.
let me start it from the beginning again. Here we
That
go.
which you do not hate, you will eventually tolerate. I think that identifies most people's lives. In other words, average becomes sort of like the slow asphyxiation. It's almost like an anesthetic. And that over time we become kind of immune and dulled to the average that we're becoming. You're going to get out of your life what you'll accept. That's really difficult for people, I think, to understand is, look, what you think you're worth and what you're going to tolerate is absolutely what you're going to bring into your life and what the outward part of your life is going to look like. And so I live by that. Like, I let myself sort of feel the pain and the difficulty of being not where I want to be in whatever that area is, whether it's my spirituality, my relationships, my money. I let myself feel that pain because, as you know, there's two motivators, right? There's the gaining of pleasure, right? Wanting to go get something, chasing the dream. But then there's the avoidance of pain. And for a lot of champions, that's a pretty big driving force for them. And so at least for me, I leverage both of those things on me to get myself to take action. And I think anytime you meet somebody like yourself or myself who might now appear self-confident, because I really had to find tools and resources because I was so insecure and shy and introverted. So I had to find techniques and resources to build that up in me. And for me, it's very simple. It's the promises that I keep to myself. If I have a habit over and over beginning to stack one on top of the other of keeping promises I make to me, not other people. Most people don't give themselves enough credit all the time. They're very aware of these 20% things and not aware of the 80, right? And that's why the dosage is so important too. You've nailed it. It should be 80-20, right? Because people get addicted to this. I'm not good at this. People don't like this about me. I don't feel good. Instead of focusing on the 80, and stacking up. Wow, I did eat what I said I was going to today. I did get up when I said I was going to. I made the amount of phone calls. I treated people in such a way I promised myself. It's not just doing those things. It's rewarding it. It's being aware of it and stacking that up. The minute you begin to get external in your life, worrying about what other people think about you, right? You've lost all control and it never fills you up. And people's admiration, people's gratitude towards you will never fill you up. It's your own. It's your own inside. And so for me, self-confidence comes from keeping the promises I make to myself. And the other part of it is being aware I'm doing it.
I just love Ed.
There's this thing people think that, like, I'll be happy when.
I just love Ed, and it's a good way to just start. So, feel the pain, because I know that sometimes when we're trying to generate leads and make those phone calls and send those emails and do the text messages and check social media and really fill your database with strong leads is going to drive to business. Sometimes we get stuck in the pain and don't just want to do what it takes to be a success in this business. So I really go to Ed a lot when I need a little bit of inspiration, because sometimes I don't want to feel the pain either. But sometimes we just got to do, and the more we feel it, it becomes easier and easier. So I hope you liked it. So I'm Donna Castillo. I guess I should introduce myself. Donna Castillo. I'm out of the Santa Clara Valley office. I've been doing real estate for about 6 years now, full time. Prior to that, I was a corporate marketing exec for companies like Adobe, Citrix, and then semiconductor companies like Atmel and Cadence. So my sphere includes a lot of engineers. So I like the data around lead gen and follow up and things like that. And feel free to reach out if you ever have any questions. I'm more than happy to help anybody. So we're here. We're going to talk about lead gen and how you go from a real estate expert to lead gen, to lead follow-up, to that transaction, to a close, to getting paid, right? That's the most important thing. And we all should have a daily success system or process in place to make sure everything's happening. Everything in here is super important to the business that you want to grow, right? And so we're going to be talking about lead gen. We're going to talk about the leads are responsible for the growth in your potential business, right? Without leads, you're not going to get a transaction. Without a transaction, we don't get paid. And so I guess Conrad's could be in me and you right now. What challenges are you finding in your lead gen? It's just me and you right now. So
Like I got a pretty good sized database of 1,600,
right on. Great.
and then another 2,000 in Facebook friends. And what I'm finding out is that I've had my license 18 years, but I only been full-time 1 year.
Okay.
And what I found out was that it's the verbiage. It's knowing what to say at the right time.
Knowing what to say and when to say it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where, I mean, don't take me wrong. I've learned a lot this year. And this year was my learning year. It's like Gary Keller says, he wishes more people would learn and then earn.
That's right.
And that's kind of where I see this season is for me. It's a preparation season.
What did you do
I'm
before?
learning a lot.
What did you do before you were a realtor?
I was a gang counselor.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I did that for 28 years with the same company.
I worked with somebody called Linda Hines, who was with the city of San Jose. She was on the gang task force.
Yeah,
so,
we were a part of that.
Important job that you had. And so they're coming in. And so do you have an accountability partner that helps you with practicing scripts? That's going to be important so that you learn what to say and when to say it. It's going to be script practice if you feel you're not getting enough traction. So script will be definitely part of your lead gen.
No, I haven't. I mean, I've done a little bit here and there. And I know that's something I got to do. I was advised to talk to Robert Cruz because he has it all the time.
Yes, we do. Yeah, I'm on Robert's team as well.
Yeah,
we do a lot of script practice, and it's really LP Mama, and so I can share that with you after the call. We got Hilda. Thanks for joining, Hilda, and we got Lena. So thanks for coming, you guys. And if anybody else wants to tell me what kind of challenges you're having with your lead gen, anybody else? They're coming in. So let's talk about the agenda today. We're going to be talking about the lead gen models, identify what your sphere is. Conrad, you have a huge sphere, a great database. How you're going to categorize that sphere, and then applying best practices. And so we're going to get going. I didn't memorize everything. And so let's talk about what you already know about lead gen. And we talked about, the video right up front, right, Conrad, feeling the pain. My fear of failure is greater than my fear of lead gen. That's pretty insightful. Gary Keller said that. It's also in his book. And the fear of failure, that's how he became successful. So for me, failure, I was a single mom for a long time. So that fear of not having what I needed at the end of every month to make sure that I'm paying my house and paying my car. My daughter went to private school. So that fear of failure was definitely, for me, not greater than my lead gen, right? So I had to lead gen to make sure that my business grew and I was able to get the business that I needed to be able to have the life that I needed, right? For me and my family. And it's really about mindset, right? And making sure that fear of failure is greater than the fear of lead gen. When you're sitting there and you got to pick up that phone, Conrad, you don't have to you'll get better, but you're going to get better by doing it. And you'll get better every time you pick up that phone. You're going to get better and better and better at it. So you can't be scared or feel any fear that you're going to say something wrong. You will get better at it. And so picking up that phone is going to be an important part, and doing those emails and reaching out to your sphere. Anybody else has anything they want to add to that? You guys are being quiet. The 6 core competencies of building a business. I'm going to move you guys over. I can't see my whole screen. There we go. So we have to lead gen. We're going to capture and convert to appointments. Present to buyers, sellers, and get agreement, right? Show buyers and market sellers. Negotiate contracts, coordinate the sale to closing. And once agent financials are so important in understanding your P&L. And so in the next few minutes, we're going to talk about all this and the core competencies around that. Okay. We good so far? So lead generation, fears and myth. I think lead gen is really difficult. I don't have time to lead generate. I don't know what to say, Conrad. You just mentioned that. And I'm afraid of making mistakes. Those are all myths. And is anybody having difficulties with these? Are you telling yourself this? I think we talked about it, Conrad, right? But anyone else want to add to it? No pressure. I'll just keep going if nobody says anything. And you can find this in the shift book that Gary Keller wrote. It's on page 52. If you're reading that book, definitely a good one right now in the shift to be reading it. Well, let's talk about the fears of the myth. So we talked about lead gen being difficult. Confusing effort with enjoyment. Lead generation is actually easy. It's just not fun. I don't find it not fun. I don't think it's all that easy either, but we got to do it, right? I don't have time to lead generate. I have an issue of making time to lead generate and protecting that time. Your time blocking is your, if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. I can't tell you how important that is. I know I have had difficulties with that. Kids, the family, things happen, right? I can't lead generate and I'm not respecting my time blocks. But if you can learn to respect your time block and guard it, you're going to be successful with the lead gen, which means you're going to go into contract, have more transactions, and get paid. I don't know what to say. You have to master the scripts, and so you have to memorize it and internalize it before you can personalize it. So I know when I first started, I didn't like memorizing it because I thought, well, this doesn't sound like me. Why would I ever? Nobody's ever going to believe that this is what I mean to say. And I criticized the scripts all the time. And I didn't realize that you have to memorize and internalize. Once you have it, and then you can personalize it. And you can personalize it to the conversation that you're having. You can personalize it to the person, to the situation. But first steps is to memorize and internalize. And that's going to help you knowing what to say, when to say it, the tone to use, the mirroring of that person that you're in front of. Scripts are probably one of the most important things you can learn in real estate, because that's going to get you the leads, it's going to get you the clients, it's going to get you the transactions, it's going to help you with relationships with other realtors so that you do close those transactions and get paid. And being afraid of making mistakes. I found that lead gen is nothing more than a set of tasks and skills that are well documented. Don't be afraid of making mistakes in the conversations when you're lead gen, because it's just something that you're going to get better at as long as you're doing the work up front with scripts. That's key for the lead gen, because it also takes away the fear of not knowing what to say, and it does make lead gen a lot more easier. I think that's probably the core here in the lead gen area. And if anybody wants to join in, feel free. And so we're going to be talking about your sphere. And so your sphere is your people of influence, people you know. They should all be on your database. I added this slide. It wasn't in the deck, but I found it really interesting, because if you don't like lead gen, you're looking for other ways to bring those people in. You want to buy Zillow leads, you want to do Facebook ads. But if you look at this, and this came from NAR, the method used to find a real estate agent, the number one is referred by or is a friend, neighbor, or relative. And so your sphere is going to give you 39% of your sellers, right? And so that's still key, and it drops dramatically as you go down the list. Used agent previously, okay. Personal contact by agent, 5%, right? And it just drops. Website, visit an open house. I mean, if you look at that, so really your lead gen, getting on the phone and talking with your sphere is really what's going to bring you the most business. So income opportunity, I love this slide. And it's really different than where you are. Yes. So if you have 200, I'm telling you, this is true. If you have 250 contacts in your phone, 56% of those people own a home. That's the stat in Santa Clara County. Feel free to Google that. Now, this is what's surprising to me. Homeowners are now staying in their homes for 17 years. Is that crazy? They expected, I'm 60, right? They expected all of us to sell our home and downsize or leave the area, and it's just not happening. In Santa Clara County, especially, people are just staying in their homes longer. But out of that 250, you probably have 8 people right now this year that are going to buy or sell or going to sell a home. About 10% of your sphere, the contacts on the phone, can refer somebody to you. That's 25 people right there in your phone that if you reached out and you're starting to have conversations with them and you ask them, do you know anybody that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? You're going to get 25 leads. And out of that, so if you add that, you potentially in your phone right now have 33 contacts that you go in contract with. Now, the average house right now in Santa Clara County is 1.7, all of Santa Clara County. Average commission at 2.5% is 42.5. So you basically in your phone right now, you have an income opportunity of over $1 million. And what do you think of that? Do you think you have 8 contacts in your phone right now that could potentially be a client? So to give, I mean, you guys are all shocked by these numbers, but I closed probably right around 25 transactions last year, and only 3 weren't my sphere. Only 3. They're people that I'm close with. They're my friends, family, people that I past coworkers, and referrals from those individuals. That's where my business came from. For probably, well, since I started in real estate, but last year was about 25, and only 3 were not spheres. They were, a referral from another agent in another state that just looked me up as a KW agent. One came from Redfin. They saw I had a listing and called me directly. And the other one's like the same thing as Zillow that came to me, then saw that I was a listing agent for the property. So, so once lead gen, script practice, call people, they're there, they're right there in your phone. And Conrad, you said you had how many? You have a lot, right?
I have about 1,600.
Yeah. And how many people do you have on your phone that you probably contact regularly?
That I contact regularly?
Yeah.
I got about 25 that are
real close.
That are leads. They're all leads that I'm constantly in contact with. Of course, a lot of things pop up, like when the interest rate went up. When that happened, I lost two. I didn't lose them; they're still in contact with me. But I had 2 clients that were ready to buy, and then the interest rate went up and took them out of the market.
Took them out of the market because they couldn't afford where they wanted to buy? Were they already
basically, yes. What they wanted, they couldn't get it now.
They just wanted a specific area?
They were both homeowners already, and they wanted to buy something else, and then the interest rates went up, and they, that took them out of the box of what they wanted to upgrade.
Mm-hmm. And so there's a script around that says, so people worry about that interest rate. If they want to move up, say, if I could find you a house where you would have the same monthly payment that met your criteria, would you do it? I mean, forget that it's 7%, but what if you found that perfect home for them with around the same monthly payment? Would they do it? There's one script around that. If they're not stuck on a certain area, we talk about, let's say they wanted to buy in Sunnyvale. Sunnyvale's blowing up right now. When Sunnyvale blows up, everybody moves south. And so you can see the number of listings increasing and the buyers coming down. And then the listings start dropping. When listings stop dropping and there's still a lot of buyers, prices go up. So if you could time it correctly, so you got to be paying attention to the market of the future, not the market of the past. If somebody wanted to buy in Sunnyvale, well, is it because of the schools and kind of like the vibe in Sunnyvale? We call it the $300,000 commute, because you can probably buy the same house in Evergreen, which has good schools, has a good vibe, a lot like Sunnyvale, and they could move there for $300,000 less, make an offer at about 5% more, probably get that listing because it's not crazy in Evergreen yet. Listings that went up in that area just yesterday, 92%. They're going crazy over there. And they're probably going to see an appreciation really quickly of 100 to 200,000 because all those buyers are coming south, right? So it's understanding scripts and then understanding your market as well. I hope that helps you a little bit. We could talk about that after, Conrad.
Okay.
Yeah, so your database. I hope I'm not going too fast.
No.
I'm not keeping up with people here. Let's see. I wanted to ask that if we go scroll to the bottom of your phone, does anybody have more than 250 contacts in their phone? Do you know? Nobody's looking. Well, check it out. And then you could do this yourself and see what the potential that you have just in your phone, your contacts in your phone. It'd be interesting. Email me. I'd love to hear it. So your database. So we talked about how many people are in the phone and how many potential sales. What's your potential income based on the contacts in your phone, right? Is your social media is another database. You know, Conrad, you have a large one. I have a large social media footprint as well with my Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. LinkedIn is where you can have postings as well. They usually they have a higher income. They're more professionals. You know, Facebook is more friends, and Instagram is for younger people. So it's understanding that audience as well. And now we're going to talk about feeding that database and how you're going to make a contact and keeping your sphere and making sure everybody in your sphere is in your database, right? So how many of you are really lead generating daily?
Mhm.
So
I honestly, I do it about, when I say lead gen, when time allows, about 5 days a week, I make at least 10 to 20 phone calls.
and then you
And
talk.
that's just because of timing.
How many people do you talk to when you make those calls?
Out of 10 to 20, say in a day, I'll probably talk to 3 or 4.
There you go. And then you track what you said to them and you put them in a smart plan and all those things, right? Keeping up with
Well,
them.
I do put the notes in command.
Good.
The smart plans I learned the hard way. I have to customize them.
Oh, you did?
That's what I'm doing now. I'm only picking 5 that I
Mhm.
can customize, and then I put a link in there for my website and
There you go.
my buyer and seller guides and things like that. So I'm almost done with that, and then I could start adding smart plans to the command or to the leads.
And definitely, if you have their address, put them on the area snapshot so they can get from you.
The
Good.
neighborhood, yeah.
Good. Any ahas so far? Are we good? We're good. Okay. So lead gen. Now we talked about lead gen. You have a database. We talked about your sphere. Let's talk about the most important models in your business, the lead gen model. As a reminder, this is our job, this is our career, and part of our job is to reach out and get those leads. So, and if you decide to start a team and leverage your business to the point that you no longer have to do it every day, it's even more important to get it done in the beginning when you're starting your career. And so if you talk to Gary Keller, I'm sure you guys are going to see this over and over again. This is his lead gen and database model. This is in every book and every presentation, probably, when you're talking about leads. So you're going to capture your leads that get added to your database. They're just leads from relationships. You got to make them into your contact. You got to strengthen them. You got to cultivate, start having conversations, and just keep repeat, ask for referrals, and start. And you got to just keep doing that. And then the more relationships you have, and the more you're reaching out to them and being consistent, you want to be top of mind when your sphere, your database, anybody says your database, when they think real estate, they have to think of you. That's the idea. You got to be top of mind. It's like any corporate brand. If you think, let me think. You don't even have. If you see a red can, you think Coca-Cola automatically, right? So when they think real estate, you want to be that brand. that they automatically go to, that they'll automatically refer you if they hear a real estate conversation happening. You want them to say, hey, you know what, I got a great realtor. Contact Conrad. He's been great. I've been hearing from him. He's doing great things. And they provide that person with that contact information, or they call you and provide you with the contact information. So huge. Prospecting and marketing. The lead gen is simply getting people to your database so that you can start tracking that relationship with them. So that's the top of your funnel. And you can never have too many leads. Conrad, you have a ton, so that's awesome. And it's just really separating which ones are your quality leads, which ones are good leads. There's a quantity of leads, there's good leads, and then the quality of the leads is going to be important, right? I've been going through that as well. There's people that are not Mets in my database, and it's going through them and contacting them and putting them in the right bucket. Is it somebody that might want to work with me if I start talking to them more and moving those not Mets into Mets, so I can start having relationships with them? It's been quite the task for me. So prospecting versus marketing. So this is really good because marketing is really money intense. So that's where you're farming an area, you print out a nice card, now you have to pay for postage. But they're going out, but it's going to be expensive. And so, for example, farming, you're probably not going to see a result from a farm 6 months. If you get something before that, yay, but it usually takes 6 months because you have to remember, how many cards do you get at your home from realtors? I always know that it's the first week of the month because that's when I get the most. And I know who they are. It's Adam Sickles. I get Rusty Paps. There's two other ones. See, I don't remember the two other ones, but I get 4 or 5 on that first week. And then I don't get any for the rest of the month. I'm sorry. But that's long-term, big money. Prospecting is going to be time intensive. You got a time block. You got to be proactive. You got a time block. You got to have your scripts ready, know what to say, but you're going to get immediate results, and it doesn't cost you anything to pick up your phone. So that's the difference now. And doing a combination of both, it's all going to be about your budget, playing red light, green light, and what you're going to spend and what you're not going to spend on. But in the marketing, it not just farming, it could be, we've all seen like Coco Tan, right? Has a billboard. That's expensive, right? There's a lot of automatic. So I do Client Giants. They do a pop-up and they mail them for you. That's not cheap. And I just have to decide whether I want to play red light, green light on those marketing activities. And I get a lot more immediate results when I just pick up the phone and talk to people. I think you will too. Feel free to talk up if you have any questions. Okay, so your relationship manager is your database. There's a container that holds the information, right? So command, that's your database. And a smart database, smart data bank allows you to have planned and meaningful communications with that database. So you can create tasks. You can, when they're getting their bi-weekly market updates, and when they're getting information from you and when they're getting touched by you, right? So there's all the names in there, and then how they're getting touched by you. And if you're reading the MREA book, right, they need at least 36 touches to keep you top of mind. And that's phone calls, that's emails, that's text messages, that's handwritten cards on the birthday wishes on Facebook, commenting on their Facebook posts. So it's all those things all together is really cultivating those contacts and having more meaningful conversations with them. Leads are people you've earned the right at least have a one-way conversation with them. So you've had an event, they register for your client event. They've given you their contact information. So when they do, you can at least call them. Contacts are people that you're having two-way conversations with, right? That's more your sphere. And everybody should be in your database. People who follow you on social media should be in your database. People you meet at an open house, people in your neighborhood. Any questions? I think it's better when we do this face to face. And then relationships, just like a marriage, you got to tend to it. Or your kids, you have to care for it. You have to cultivate it, right? You have to respect it. If I didn't talk to my husband for a month, he might not be around that much longer, right? So it's really important that the that the contacts that you have in your database, you nurture it. Got to call them, got to talk to them, say happy birthday, just like you would with your close friends. Those are easy. So types of communication, I think I just mentioned it, right? It's those phone calls. Do you all know about the DTD2? So every week there's 2 letters to call and a letter to text. You don't have that? If you don't have it, send me an email and I'll send it to you. But every week it gives you who you should call in your database, and that guarantees that you talk to everybody once a quarter in your database. And so that helps track and make sure that you're doing things correctly. You could also tag your contacts in command so that you know who to call that week. Email, I like to do a weekly email about listings to my database. So they're getting that in addition to the smart plans. Text messages is great. So once again, that DTD2 tells you who to text that week. Nothing beats face-to-face conversations. So try to have as many, call your contacts and invite them for Starbucks or lunch or some kind of meetup or to an event, go to an event together. There's also the KW app that we all know that we can send to people. They can track the housing market and what's for sale in the areas of interest to them. And handwritten communications. I love to send happy birthday cards that I personally mail to them versus an automated card that goes to them. Happy birthdays, thank yous, was thinking about you. Try to do that with your contacts as well. If you see an important, somebody just had a brand new grandchild, send them a card, send the grandkid a little gift. Those are all ways to stay in contact. And when you see that on Facebook and you do reach out in an unexpected way like that, they're going to remember you. Once again, you want to stay top of mind with absolutely everybody in your database, right? You want to be top of mind. Any other ways that you can, any other types of communication that you can think of? Okay, so anybody that's in your database doesn't make them your client. You got to reach out to them consistently for them to turn into a client or to refer business to you. So don't forget that one. It's really important. And the client and referral loop, your database is going to generate you leads in the form of new repeat referral business, right? So they're new, and then you can expect anywhere up to 17 years, hopefully sooner. I mean, I just worked with somebody who I helped them purchase a home in Pittsburgh 2 years ago. And and I do talk to him and we kept in contact. It was time to sell. Called me immediately, and I put it on the MLS as a coming soon to show, and I sold it before it even went live on the MLS, right? And so he's happy, and he's now referring me business to. He has referred business to me over the last 2 years. So that's just an example of what can happen. My best friend, she's been my friend since first grade. I can't even tell you how many referrals I've received from her. Anybody else received referrals from their clients yet? Not yet? Your friends, family? Okay, we're gonna go on. And so put it all together. So, sorry, I feel like I need something in my throat. Lead gen never ends. It's best when it's time blocked. That is so true. And it really does determine the size of your business. So what's really interesting, it's best when time blocked. There was a study that came out that you get people to answer the phones more between 8 and 9 and 4 and 5, Monday through Friday. Just giving you an idea of when you can time block for your calls. It doesn't mean don't call any other time, right? Because you should be getting at least 3 hours a day dedicated to prospecting. But if you're calling between 8, 9, and 5, and 4 and 5, you're probably going to get a better response, and you're probably going to talk live to more people. Any ahas? We're good? Okay. Let's get going. Let's see. So now we're going to talk about your sphere again. And so who's in your sphere? Your sphere is anybody in your life, right? Who's influenced you, you have close relationships with, family, friends, distant connections. So I kind of put some here, your immediate family, friends, friends of friends, relatives, old classmates. I used to work at Intero. There was a gentleman named Jordan Mott. He went to Penn State. He went out on LinkedIn and made friends with everybody that went to Penn State as well. And he's extremely successful. He needs to come to KW, but he did a lot of it with his classmates, your neighbors, past coworkers, your significant others, past coworkers or current coworkers. If you're any kind of hobby, sports, teachers, your kids' teachers, current clients, past clients. There's also orphan clients. So that's the client of the other side of your transaction. Most realtors don't keep a great relationship with those individuals. So when they're ready to sell, you want them to come to you, right? Your social media connections. I'm telling you, this was not on there. Your mailman. Your mailman knows when somebody's going to move in the area. And to have them tell you, wouldn't that be great, right? The friends of your kids, parents, I'm sorry. And then really anybody that knows your name should be your sphere and in your database. Did I miss anybody here? I did say vendors, business, and professional. I think I covered it, right? That's almost everybody. Then you got to categorize it, right? Oops. So there were some things that we were going to some activities, but since we're not meeting in person, we'll keep going. But the bold laws change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. I love that one. It's one of my favorites. Let me see. So they brought this in here because sometimes you have to look at things differently. So we talked about the 250 contacts in your phone, and the average sale of a home in this area and the amount of referrals, right? I hope that made you go, wow, I could, you could be a millionaire agent just with the 250 contacts in your phone. You really can, right? I hope you're looking at that a little bit differently when you're adding people to your phone as a friend or your kids' parents or things like that. Those are all potential clients that you have that just in your phone. Now, getting them into your phone, into your database and start nurturing them, that's how you're going to get there. So it's really shifting your mindset and understanding that absolutely everybody that you have any interaction with is a potential client of yours. But you don't want to, and that's why script practice is important, is to know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. And so expanding your sphere. We talked about lead gen, your sphere. Now let's talk about how you're going to expand that sphere. Add more personal information to your sphere. So every person in my database, when I reach out to them, I ask them if things have changed since we last talked. I try to get the names of their kids or grandkids or their pets. If it's kids or grandkids, what's their birthday? How impressive would it be that if your client had 4 kids and those kids got a birthday card from you, right? And so it's really that you care about the whole family as a unit and not just about the transaction. Wedding anniversaries, favorite color, favorite team. I have Shark season tickets, so I know who in my database likes to go to a Shark game. I'll offer that and see if they're interested in going as a couple or if they want to come with me. All those things are super important because you have to understand them as a person and not just as transaction. So you want to add as much personal information as you can and add it to command and just ask for it, right? So like I said, when I'm contacting them, I want to make sure that I have all the current information. Yesterday, I saw that a friend of mine just had a grandchild. She now lives in, Roseville? And I'm going to reach out to her and go, oh my God, I saw that you're a grandma now. Let me send the baby a gift. Give me their address. And I'll send them their address. And guess what? They're in my database now too. But I did it from a place of caring. I think it's really cool that she had this grandkid, but it's also cool that I'm expanding my sphere too, right? And then those casual relationships that you might have and strengthening those. So if your kids are playing sports, making friends with the other parents, or if you belong to a PTA, I'm a commissioner for the city of San Jose for the Seniors Commission. I'm strengthening those relationships all the time. Going to a chamber of commerce in the area that you're forming, go to those meetings and strengthen those relationships. So it's, and so what's really important too is we're in a time where everyone's always sitting there on their phone and they don't look up. Don't be that person. Try to reach out and make and strengthen those relationships with those around you. You'll find that they'll like it too. That not just sitting there with their phones open. And I talked about joining groups. I'm a commissioner for the city of San Jose. There's a lot of groups in your neighborhood and in your area that you can join. I just mentioned I'm a commissioner. You can look on your city's website and join. It doesn't cost anything. You get listed on their website, and it's one meeting a month for a couple of hours. And I feel I'm making a difference in the life of seniors in my area. And it's a great way too. So real estate is totally demanding, and if we let ourselves, we work way too many hours. So not only can you join groups to connect with people, but it's also for you to have some time to just enjoy an outing with another group of people. Let me see. And it's an opportunity to talk to people. Anybody belong to groups purposefully to expand their sphere or make new connections? The chambers are a good one. There's a lot of networking events that are always publicized. If you could go to Eventbrite and see what's coming up, that's a great way. Or host your own event and invite. It's a way to expand your sphere as well. And referrals, we talk about referrals. So 10% of those on your phone. If you have 250, that's 25 referrals. So by expanding your sphere, you're asking for referrals, which is going to give you more business, right? So those are, your serious people, and people that know, like, and trust you. And so reach out to them and just ask them for referrals. And if you ask for help, most people, almost 99.9, want to help. So it's important. Just say, I need a little help. I want to expand. I want to grow my business. Who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? And really making sure, if you're having all these conversations and you're calling everybody once a quarter and they're on a 36 touch, they're going to know who you are, but let's make sure that they know who you are and remind people as much as you can, because it is our business, right? And I find that some people they get embarrassed asking for a referral, but think of it this way. If you go to a great restaurant, don't you recommend it to everybody as well? So it's the same thing, right? And so here's gatherings where you hear some conversations you can have. I need a little help. I'm building my business. People I know and people they know. Do you know of anybody, family or friends, a group that who's thinking of buying or investing in real estate? And I added, I need a little help, because people love to help. And then remind, if you're someone with a real estate need, that they will keep you in mind and let you know right away, right? And those are easy conversations to have with your sphere. And there's also the Ford conversation that's very Keller Williams, right? Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Any ahas? Come on, guys. Get some ahas. No ahas? Okay. I went through so many slides, I wasn't even looking at the papers that I was supposed to be following. Lead gen best practices. Track your lead sources. That's going to be important. You're going to see where your business is coming from. Audit your lead sources. Diversify your database. And really, my word for this year is consistency. So it's being consistent with your database. Talking to everybody, one time per quarter at least. That consistency is going to be the driving force behind a really good business for you. It's that the smart plans are great because they're consistently getting that market updates from you. The phone calls and the emails and everything else that we talked about, right? Is that consistency. We talked about time blocking. So you got to prepare, have the right mindset, practice your script practice, get your call list together, and then go out and start having conversations with your sphere. You got to make it personal, be authentic, be sincere, take notes. So if something's happening in their life, it, you're right. A dog passed away, or they got a new puppy, they got a new cat, or they dog people, cat people. I added that we, use that board conversation so that you cover everything. Make sure that you're being curious. Once again, that's being authentic. When you're talking to your friends, offer any help. It doesn't have to be real estate. It can be non-real estate, but always offer something of value to them. I work with vendors. I'll give you an example. I work with vendors. So when we're having all these storms, he said that he would give my clients 25% off gutter cleaning, something simple like that. And so I would add, that's not me talking about you want to buy or sell or invest in real estate, but I offer them my vendor will offer you a 25% discount in gutters. Are you interested? I'll text you the contact information. Just make sure you say Donna. And they liked it. And when they did make that appointment, the vendor also called me to say they did, so that I could call back and say, hey, I heard you cleaned out your gutters. Did you like that vendor? Did you like those services? Would you recommend those services to somebody else? Right? Track your conversations. That's important, because if once you understand that let's say it takes 100 conversations to get an appointment, and it takes you 5 appointments to get a listing. Once you understand how many conversations you're going to have, your business becomes more predictable. And so if it's, you have a goal to have 10 listings in Q1, and you know that it takes you 100 conversations to have an appointment and 5 appointments, so you better have 500 conversations, right? Get on those phones and start having it, because you know what your business is. You know how many calls you have to make. You know how many appointments you have to get that listing, or to get that buyer in contract, whatever you're focusing on. So that's really tracking those conversations is super important. And then updating it and maintaining your database. Like I said, when I reach out, how's the family? How's, what's different? Are you still living there? Is your son still in that little league team? Make sure that you're updating your database with all that information. So the next time that you have a conversation with them, you know what was said last time, and you can touch upon it the next time you have a conversation with them, so that relationship continues to be strong, and then stronger as time goes on. Make sense? Okay. So this is what I battle with: distractions. So you have to protect your time block, because I'm at home right now, and I know even if my door's closed, if my husband and my daughter need me, they'll just barge in. And so I've now put a sign on the door that says, I'll come out at 10, or I'll come out at 11, so that they know that this is my prospecting time. And I know, because once they interrupt me, it might take me 15 minutes to get on the phone, or it might take hours, or I might never come back. So that's why I really want to protect that time. And ahas? You guys are easy today. No ahas, huh? Okay. So is any changes in the way you think about this mindset? Anything you feel differently about? Anything that was meaningful for you today that you felt that could potentially make a difference in your business? What you're going to do different? Actions you'll take?
Donna, this is Conrad. KW offers so much information and trainings and everything.
Right.
And I've been to Bold. I came back for a family reunion, and I love it.
Hey.
What I think here is that Ignite is giving me a real good path to follow. What I've been listening to, if I just stay with this, it's going to give me a great path to follow. And all the other things I'll be involved in, but this is really giving me a good path to follow.
Well, that's great. And it's when you talk about lead gen, it's the 3-legged stool. What are the 3 things that you're going to focus on, to grow that business? So if it's prospecting and making sure that you talk to everybody once a quarter, then make sure you do it. That's your goal. Because if you don't do those 3 things that are super important to you to drive business, you're not going to have a business, right? So focus on that and make it happen. And when you think you can, you can. You most definitely can. We could all be millionaire agents, all of us. We could all be on stage next year with Gary Keller if we want to. I mean, I just showed you what 250 contacts can do on your phone. And I'm doing my spheres, last year was about 25. I think the year before was around 23. Almost all, 90% of them are my sphere. And so if you're reaching out, calling them, touching them, birthday cards, liking some comments on their social media, just be consistent in what you do. So, and so I try to do, I get up early, my 8 to 8:30. I'll give you an example. My 8 to 8:30 is I check out whose Facebook birthdays that day. Each of them get a personalized message at first name. I saw that it was your birthday today. I just had to stop and take a minute and wish you a huge happy birthday. Enjoy your day. I also have a video myself that's just saved on my computer that's generic, but that just says, I saw it was your birthday today, and I just wanted to take a minute and say happy birthday. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope we get together soon. Talk to you soon. And those are for my sphere. So I say it, and I send them the video. And I'm telling you, if I send 10 messages, I always get 10 responses back. Oh my God, thank you for the video, thumbs up, whatever it is, or they call me. And so that's something that, and then I like my 5 comments with my sphere, and I post something, and then I put away my social media. And then I start with the phone calls. And I try to do that for 3 hours a day. And then afternoon is reserved for appointments, or any kind of follow-up I might need from the conversations I had that morning, updating my database with the conversations that I had, maybe giving them a new market report, whatever it is based on the conversation that I had with them that day. So yeah, so watch and repeat. No need to reinvent the wheel, right, Conrad? If the tools are for you, it's just about taking those tools and implementing them, and then being consistent in that implementation.
Correct.
Anybody else have any comments? Oh, so there you go. We're going to talk about the success system, right? But we're talking, we just really talked about this. Look at that. Let's see what they say about the success system. And so, that's funny. I just said everything here just a second ago. It's having those conversations, contacts, handwritten notes, social media engagement, right? And checking it off and making sure that you're doing it every day. And meet your goal and try to exceed your goal. I try to talk to 20 people a day. Sometimes it's tough. I can't get anybody on the phone. And so then I have my backup friends like, okay, I know that person will talk to me, because sometimes you get defeated, you get tired of being hung up on, or remove me from your database. And so I gotta that happens to me, and you just gotta shake it off and keep going. Don't forget the do not call list. If you're getting leads from an outside source, just be careful. If they do ask to be removed, remove them. You don't want to take a chance and be sued. And I engage every conversation, spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me. Absolutely. That goes back to mindset, right? Setting up that mindset before you start making your calls, that you come from, that you're happy, that your voice is happy, energetic when you talk to people, and you're bringing value to them. All big stuff. Any questions about what we talked about? None?
Hey, Donna.
Yeah.
Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Yeah, not a question, but comments. And throughout your conversation, I think you keep mentioning about being consistent, right? I think that's something I'm lack of. I have to be disciplined, be consistent.
Absolutely. And
That's
it's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard to be consistent because life happens.
It's hard, but
it is hard. Absolutely. You can get an accountability partner if you've known there's somebody that You know, we're gonna prospect whatever time it is. Maybe 3 hours isn't your thing. Maybe you want to do an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon. At the end of the day, you check in with each other and say, you know, did you do your calls? Yes or no? And if you didn't do your calls, talk about what stopped you from being able to commit that time to that activity. You know, you can't, because I know earlier in my career in real estate, oh, I didn't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow, or, you know, I had to take my kid to whatever. And it just kept slipping and my business wasn't growing. And I found that having an accountability partner and just focusing on consistency really made the difference. It's
Right.
hard, Jenny.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
is. And to just protect that time block. And not everybody is a 9 to 12. Maybe it's the afternoon. Make sure you take your lunches too. Make sure you take a break during the day as well. Don't get burned out. That's another thing that you have to be careful with, right? And when somebody, and Robert told me this, Conrad, it can be really discouraging, right? When you hang up, leaving messages, nobody calls you back. I got one of my automated emails, somebody cussed at me in the response email. And it's really, what's your mindset around that? We all get sales calls all the time. Sometimes, I know I hang up sometimes, it's like, oh, not another one, right? You get tired of it. But let's say I do hang up on somebody. Do we remember that person's name or the product that they were trying to offer me? Or no, you don't. You just move on with your life, right? And so when I get hung up on, they don't remember me. They don't care. And just know that it's not personal and just keep doing your calls. And when the guy emailed me a bunch of cuss words and the F you in my email, I kind of just took it as, well, at least he was paying attention, right? He might have gotten sick of it, but he was paying attention. And it's really about your mindset with that.
You know, Donna, all those years I worked with gang involved youth and adults, they could be some of the rudest people there are. You know what I mean? Especially when you first meet them.
Yeah.
And I learned that I had to do certain things to have what we called license to operate in their neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that. I was very successful in that area. When it comes to hanging up or cussing me out, I don't got a problem with that. I mean, it's not going to be the last time somebody does that.
Exactly.
It's me just applying myself to learning the verbiage. That's what I'm really focusing on right now,
I'm going to send you something.
while I do the lead gen and prospecting.
Yeah, right. And find somebody to script practice with, even if it's just 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
It'll make a difference. And just start, and I always keep the scripts right there in front of me, because believe me, sometimes, I get a little scatterbrained as well. It's, I keep them here and I know what conversations I'm trying to have with people, and I just have it in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and also practice objection handling as well, right? It's going to be important. And it'll just start coming. So if you're new, how long, you said a year, right? This is your
1 year full time. But I've had a license for 18 years.
Any transactions this year?
Excuse me?
Any
No.
transactions? Okay,
No.
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an absolute. There's no giving up.
That's right.
There's no, I'm not retreating or anything like that.
It's all about mindset. Absolutely. Anybody else have anything?
Hey, Don, it's Ryan. I have a question about newsletters. I know in Command there is, some of the smart plans have like a monthly neighborhood update, but
Right.
have you found any success with any other third-party services that maybe have like a more of a general market update that you could include more people on, with charts, trends, visuals, something you could personalize, put something about yourself in it?
Are you doing it? You're not doing that to replace the phone calls, right?
No, this would just be like in a kind of a drip campaign with contacts who maybe aren't looking to buy or sell anytime soon, but just to kind of stay in their mind. And the reason why I ask is because I have a high school buddy who works with Lion Real Estate in Sacramento, and I'm on his monthly newsletter, but just to kind of see like what he's doing. And he's got through Lion, or if it's another third-party service, but his newsletters come out with general market updates. And I was just curious if in your if in your experience you knew of any other services that people liked or you got good feedback on.
Well, Command has that one that they do, right? That you can customize to you and add your picture and add market stats for your area. Have you seen it?
I probably have not seen. I've kind of, we've had a little baby, so we're kind of just getting back into it now. So if there are any updates to any of the systems,
congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much.
We should add them to our database and send them a card. Just kidding. No, Ryan, look in Command. There is a newsletter in there.
Okay.
And it's the 4 newsletters, right? It's one per season. So they'll have a spring one coming out soon, and you can personalize it at no cost, right? That's the free marketing. And you can personalize it with your picture, your story. It gives you, like, if I remember correctly, a featured home in the area that you're marketing in or farming. And then it's the couple of pages that are stats, and you enter that information, and then you can either print it and mail it to your database, or you can email it to your database. So take a look at that.
Is it in Smart Plans, or what section would I find
It's in Designs. It's in Designs.
Got it. Okay, I'll take a look at that.
It's a template that you can use.
Okay.
Okay, take a look there. Not let me know, and I can give you a couple other ones, but I would start there because that's free.
Okay, understood. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate it.
Sure. Anybody else have any questions? Nothing.
Yeah, Donna, is it possible to you mentioned something about asking for to email you for something earlier in this webinar. What was that?
No, I was just saying, if you need anything, feel free to reach out to me. You can either email me or call me. More than happy to help.
Okay.
Was it something?
Well, I wanted to ask you about Robert Cruz.
Okay, we could talk about that. I'll give you why don't you give me a call after this? We can have a conversation about that.
Okay.
Anybody else have questions? You all gonna time block it and make 3 hours of calls a day, right? Because this class inspired you so much, right? Okay, so we had I think like an hour and a half. I just gave you some more time back to your schedule so you can make those calls and start prospecting, organizing your database. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate your time. Have a great day.